This is the only email segmentation guide you'll ever need. In 2026, segmentation is more important than ever because of Gmail's stricter sender rules and the fact that you're paying more for every single email address on your list. But most brands either make their strategy way too complicated with tons of emails to microsegments that nobody opens, or they blast their emails to every single one on their list and destroy their deliverability. Now, after making over 50 million euros for our clients with email marketing, we found that 90% of email sales come from just a handful of key segments. These segments maximize your opens and fix your deliverability, save you hundreds or thousands every month by cutting dead emails, and turn browsers into buyers without extra ad spend, time and time again. Make sure to watch this until the end, because these segments work together as a whole, and missing even one of them means you're leaving money on the table every single month. And now, let's get straight into the last segmentation guide you'll ever need. Alright, so heading into segmentation 101. So if your campaigns aren't converting, it's not always your copy or design. More often than not, it's your segmentation. And the same content, it's not black and white. The content is not good or bad in and of itself. It's all about who you're sending it to. Are you sending it to the right people in the right place at the right time? So the same content can be a total failure for one segment and a money machine when targeting the correct people for that specific piece of content. Most brands send emails based on what they want to promote, but great brands, they architect the audience based on who they're sending to and why it matters to that specific person. And so you don't need 100 hyper-granular segments. You simply need the right mix of zero-party data, first-party behavior, and basic lifecycle context to send smarter and more profitable emails. And in this training, I'm going to be breaking down the core segments that actually move the needle and how to build them without overcomplicating your segmentation, your resources, the time it takes for you to send emails, and so on. And so I've divided these key segments into three key core categories that you need to focus on. And so the first category is Evergreen segments. And these are the segments that every single e-commerce brand needs to have set up one way or another, no matter your niche, no matter your type of brand or anything. And so you can find these linked to our full internal segmentation SOP at GrowTrigger. You have access to this mirror board because you're watching this video. The link is here. You can open the link and you can see all the internal segmentation guidelines, conditions and rules for each of these segments, and what segments you need to build and how you actually build them. It's all yours, but I'm gonna also be talking about it right now in this video. And so, first of all, when it comes to the Evergreen segments, when people join your newsletter list, your master list that contains all of your profiles on your CRM, you want to divide them into these key segments. So first of all, you have your engaged segments. So these are basically people who have engaged with your brand or your emails within a specific number of days or a specific amount of time. You can have 30 days engaged, you can have 60, 90, 120, up to 180 days. You can even have longer ones, but these are usually the key ones. And how to build this segment? It's super simple. Here's a screenshot of how it looks in Klaviyo. So it's basically, open email at least once in the last 30 days where Apple Privacy Open equals false, or clicked email, or placed order, or was active on site at least once in the same amount of time. And then person can receive email marketing because they're subscribed. And that's how you build it. And then reverse unengaged segments for 90 days or 180 days for people who have not opened or not engaged with your emails at all within this specific amount of time. And again, here you can see opened email 0 times in the last 90 days, clicked email 0 times in the last 90 days, created is at least 90 days ago, and can receive email marketing. And that's how you build this segment. So there's engaged and then there's unengaged. Then the second kind of branch in this Evergreen segment category is segmenting people based on how many orders they placed and what kind of customer they are. So are they prospects? So basically non-customers placed orders 0 times over all time, or are they first-time customers? They placed order at least one time order over all time, or only one time. Then there's VIP customers. You can mark the number of orders yourself. If you think VIP customers for you are somebody who has bought 3 times, you can place the order number at 3 to qualify them to be a VIP customer. Or if it's 5, then you place number 5 there. Then you have repeat customers, so those who have placed order at least 2 times over all time. And then you have some other ones. So you have, like, if you are a subscription brand, maybe you have active subscription customers who are currently active on a subscription. You make a different segment of those because you don't want to target them with their one-time offers and promos all the time, because that's just going to increase churn and make their experience worse because they're getting frustrated of seeing these one-time discounts when they're already locked in. And then you have a lapsed customer segment, so people who have used to be your customers before, but now they haven't bought in a specific amount of time anymore. So that's lapsed customers. And then the third branch here is list hygiene segments and then exclusion segments. So I have a LinkedIn post here going deeper into these, but basically what these mean, list hygiene segments are segments like I can show you here. There are segments like basically in this checklist you can find list cleaning segments. So there are suppression segments, spam trap segment, spam trap role accounts, chronic bounces, and people who have never engaged with your emails in 120 days or more after joining your list. Then there's campaign exclusion segments on top of those. So there can be people, who have bought in the past 7 days. You don't want them to go through your regular campaigns. You have people going through flows right now. You have people who have recently bounced, their emails have bounced at least 2 times in the past week or 2, and so on. So there's different kinds of segments, and then similar thing for SMS and SMS campaign exclusions as well. You have access to this document. You can go deeper into these on your own time, but basically I'm gonna show you what this exclusion segment, for example, means. So let me just open this up quickly and show you. So basically, what are exclusion segments? If you want to make sure that your customers have a smooth customer journey, there's not overlapping communication, multiple different flows and campaigns going out at the same time, you want to be doing exclusion segments in your flows. So what this means is basically adding a kind of profile property update in the start of your flows. So let's say somebody joins a welcome flow, you add a profile property update, create welcome flow as active at the start of the welcome flow. And then at the end of the welcome flow, you update the property welcome flow to inactive. So then this basically allows you to identify people who are currently in your welcome flow, so you don't bombard them with any other communication. You can exclude those people from your other flows that are lower priority. You can exclude those people from your regular newsletters because you want them to go through the one consistent, coherent journey of welcome flow instead of getting different, overlapping, confusing promotions that don't make sense for that specific customer. So that's why you want to be using those. And then when you have added these different kind of exclusion properties in all of your key flows, you can then make exclusion segment from your campaigns. So you can add people who are in win-back flow or welcome flow or post-purchase flow or any other of your flows. You can then build a segment out of that, and then you can exclude that segment from your campaigns, and you can also use those as exclusions in your flows. So if you want people to go through your abandonment flow and not go through any of your other flows at the same time, then you can exclude the abandonment flow active segment from your welcome flows, from your post-purchase flows, and so on. So that's basically how the exclusion segments work, how the list hygiene segments work. The key purpose for exclusion segments is basically a smooth customer journey, and the key purpose for list hygiene segments is to make sure that you don't pay for unnecessary profiles on your list, because basically if you're paying for a lot of profiles that are not actually engaging with your emails, you're just paying for nothing. They're not going to become customers. You're just losing money because all of these email service providers bill you based on the number of active profiles you have. But it also harms your deliverability if you're sending to people who are not opening, who are marking your emails as spam, don't want to receive your emails. So you're saving money, but you're also saving your deliverability and domain reputation by using these kind of segments. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video and getting value out of it. Just a quick heads up, you can take this segmentation strategy and set it up for yourself. Or if you're an e-commerce or telehealth brand doing above 50K per month and want us to handle your entire email segmentation together with your whole lifecycle marketing, then click the first link in the description to book your free email marketing audit. And now let's get straight back into the video. Alright, and so heading into the second category here, it's zero-party data and first-party data segments. And these are the segments where the real psychological or behavioral personalization happens. And these have the biggest potential of improving your conversion rates when used right. The emphasis here, when used right. You don't want to overuse them, but I'm going to show you how you can use them, for example. So here's the first branch, zero-party data. And first of all, what is zero-party data? It's data that your customers, people who are visiting your website, are giving to you voluntarily. So for example, here you can see how you can collect it. The best example is the pop-ups, where you are collecting their email address, but you're also collecting some extra data points from them. So for example, here you've got 25% back. Let us know what are you looking to improve: muscle health, gut health, brain health, overall health, wellness. Then from health, improve nutrition, well-being, mental well-being, better sleep, or exercise and fit. Then there's one, are you shopping for yourself or someone else? Then there's is your main goal to lose weight or boost vitality? And there's so many more of these. And then on top of asking the data in this way, when you're actually like asking them to press a button and then you have the data point inside like Klaviyo, for example, you can also have a more manual approach, more qualitative approach, where the data is actually given to you in a different form. So here's, for example, in Freya, email from Freya, the Bonnie, co-founder of Freya, is sending: our support team informed me that you haven't taken a shot with Freya yet, I'd really like to know what's holding you back, which one sounds most like you. And then we've given them 5 options. I'm overwhelmed and don't know where to start. I'm unsure if the meds are right for me. I'm worried it won't work for me. I want to do it, just not sure if now's the time. And then I am tight on budget. And then we are asking them to just hit reply with your letter. And then when they hit reply, it literally takes them 2 seconds. They just press reply, they write their letter, then they press send, and then our support team will be able to start having a conversation with them. They know the data, they know why they are not completing their order, and then they can personalize the communication from that point on, have a two-way conversation, and eventually convert these people. And this has been a really, really good conversational approach that we've been following, especially for our clients in the telehealth space recently. It's really, really good results. So that's zero-party data. And how can you actually build these segments? I'm going to show you inside Klaviyo. So for example, we have a client, a skincare client, and we are collecting in the pop-up the same kind of data, like you're getting this discount of your first order, and to claim your discount, share us your skin type. So we can then send them emails, send them welcome flows and everything based on their actual skin type. And how can you do this? You put inside the pop-up this data point, and then when they press the pop-up button, you're going to be able to populate attribute or property inside Klaviyo. So let's say in here you can have skin type equals blemish prone, and then you can see, okay, there's 3,130 people right now with blemish prone skin type, and then you can have oily, and then you can look at that, and then you can see there's 2,000 people in that segment, and you can build these segments, and then inside your welcome flow you can put a branch where you ask what is the skin type, and then if their skin type is oily, you're sending them products that help with oily skin type, and then if your skin type is blemish prone, you're sending them different kind of product recommendations. So the whole welcome flow journey is personalized based on their skin type, and this allows us to have a fully personalized approach for everyone based on their skin type and also increase the conversions there. And that's the best way to utilize this kind of third-party data, because you're utilizing it when, like, straight after they've given the data to you. So they give the data to you here, and then they go into the welcome flow, and you have exactly the data that they just gave you, the information, and then you can utilize it in the moment. Because sometimes these things change. Let's say somebody has a muscle health as their main goal, then they join the brand, they buy their products that are related to that, but then maybe 2 months later down the line, their main problem or goal is brain health at that point. If you're still using the muscle health property there, you're targeting the people with the wrong kind of communication. They're not warm leads to that category anymore, and you're just missing out on conversions because you're not targeting them with this kind. So that's why the best time to use this zero-party data is when they actually give it to you, when it's still fresh, because these data points are dynamic and they change over time. All right, let's go to the second category here, which is first-party data. So this can be data that people are in here. They give the data to you based on the actions they take on your website and stuff like that. So for example, they're browsing your website, they're joining your list and stuff like that. For example, Klaviyo has predictive gender. You can use that data. It has like predicted gender is male or female or unknown, and then you can use that data in there. And then you also have their IP address inside Klaviyo, inside these email platforms. So you can, based on that location, you can then target them with content specific to that location. Or also there's a language property, so locale. You can see if their language is English or Finnish. For example, we work with a lot of brands in the Finnish market doing marketing in Finnish, but they're also doing marketing in English. So then we have the flows branched out for these different languages, so everyone gets in their preferred language. And then there's behavioral segments. So these are kind of like tied to the first-party data. There's so many of these you can do, and I would recommend using these for specific use cases. Like not just like making all of these and trying to use them all the time, but using them for specific use cases. Let's say somebody added to cart within X days. They're going through your cart abandonment flow. Let's say somebody ordered recently. They're going through your cross-sell campaigns. They're going through your cross-sell flow. Let's say they clicked a specific email. You can target them with a retargeting email. Like, hey, we noticed. Like, hey, here's the founder of the brand. We noticed you clicked this email but didn't convert. Anything we can do to help you, or something like that. Then, if they bought a specific product, again, you can target them with specific onboarding instructions. Get them to adopt the product. Get them to get the best experience out of it, and so on. If somebody has refunded or canceled their order, you can ask them what went wrong. You can offer them to get back to and like reconvert from there. If somebody canceled their subscription, you can send them emails based on trying to understand why they canceled. How can you reconvert them again, win them back as a customer, as a subscriber, and so on. So there's so many of these. And then the third category and final category here about the key segments is bonus extra segments. And these are the ones that can be anything specific to your brand, or for your needs. And below I've added some of the highest impact use cases just as inspiration for you. So first of all, here's retargeting people who I already mentioned this, who recently clicked your email newsletter campaign with a plain text personal email from the founder. So this is what we used to do, for example, for Balance Coffee. Hey, it's James again. We're now down to the final 6 hours before the Balance membership card sale closed at midnight. I noticed you clicked earlier but didn't grab one, and I don't want you to miss out on what so many others have already locked in. And then explaining the offer again, secure Balance. And these personalized follow-ups that look like they're actually coming from the founder because they clicked, these convert like crazy. Another example here, creating list division segments to divide your list into randomized equal size segments. If you want, for example, to run randomized testing across your whole list, if you want to limit your recipient numbers inside your campaigns when you're ramping up the domain or warming up a new domain or something like that, you can use these. And here's, this is also in the segmentation strategy doc you have access to, but this is also explained there. Here I have a screenshot of that. You can basically create an all active segment at Klaviyo, so everyone who can receive email marketing is inside that segment. Then you can create a flow that triggers when somebody is inside a specific segment, and then you can have a conditional split there, 50-50 random sample, then another 50-50 random sample, and then you create list division as 1 out of 4, as 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, and 4 out of 4. And this way, all people who are active in your list are randomly put into these 4 segments, and then you can use them as you wish for testing or domain warming or whatever. So that's how you use that. And then another option here, or another example, creating active customer segments separately based on if the customer is on a monthly plan, versus on a quarterly plan or 6-month plan or something, with the goal of pushing monthly subscribers to lock into the quarterly plan to front load revenue and increase retention. So this is really specific to our telehealth clients, for example. We are doing segments where we have active customers GLP-1s monthly, and then we have active customers GLP-1s on a quarterly plan. And then we can have a flow for the monthly plan subscribers where we are upselling them to the quarterly plan. So hey, lock into the quarterly plan, you save this much money if you lock into the 3-month plan right now. And then we front load the revenue, we get more sales right now, and we also increase our retention because we lock those people in for the next 3 months automatically. So these are a couple of options here. And then final note regarding these segment categories, you don't want to over segment. This is really important. Why? Because most brands, they either don't segment at all, which is a mistake, or then they totally overcomplicate their setup. So there's always these 2 opposite ends which don't work, to be honest. Either of them doesn't work. For optimal outcome, use the 20% of segments that drive 80% of results. And to drive my point across, consider this example here. So let's say you are sending 5 prod emails per week, reach a total of 250,000 people, and convert 1% of them all to buyers. You're eventually getting 2.5k buyers from that 5 campaigns per week that you're sending. Then example 2, you send 10 hyper-segmented emails per week, reach a total of 50k people, and increase your conversion rate by 25% due to more personalized content. So your conversion rate goes up from 1% to 1.25, but your number of people who receive your emails decrease 5 times. So now you're basically getting only 625 buyers. So in this example, you're sending 2 times more emails, you're doing 2 times more work, but you're getting 4 times less sales. So this is just a really important example that the increase, the lift in the conversion rate needs to offset the decrease in the reach for it to be ROI positive. And you need to understand this. If you don't understand this, you will just end up doing 10 times the work with same or even worse results. So that's super important. Then let's see how these all work together. So now I've given you all these different segments. I've shown you the evergreen segments you need to be using. I've shown you the zero-party data, first-party data segments, and then I've shown you the extra segments, a couple of examples and inspiration there. So now, how do all this work together? A couple of important points that I'm gonna be saying here. Number 1, 80 to 90% of your sends should be going to the base engaged segment. So basically this one here. I would start by using 90-day as the baseline. So 90-day engaged segment is usually a good baseline. But if you have deliverability issues, I might go to 30 days, I might go to even 14 days, like 2 weeks, and then start expanding from there when deliverability improves. If you have a really good deliverability and really high open rates, I would go from 90 to 120 to 150 to 180, even further to like up to 200 something days, or even to full list if your list is small and you can maintain the full list sends without hurting your deliverability. So the more people you can send to while maintaining your deliverability, the better. So that's how I would, and that's the best practices we follow as a business when we are serving our clients. So 90-day engaged as baseline. If open rates go below 35, for example, then I would go to 15 to 30-day engaged to warm up the deliverability. And then if open rates are high, like above 50%, then I would aim to expand further from 90 to 120, 50, 180 days, etc. to increase reach. And again, goal is to go as broad as possible with reach while maintaining healthy deliverability. Now, point number 2, on top of these majority of your sends, you want to be sending 1 to 3 campaigns per month as the full list reactivation. Of course, excluding the suppression, list cleaning, and exclusion segments that I've explained here. So those will be excluded, but otherwise you would be willing to send to your full list at least 1 to 3 times a month to just make sure that everyone on your list is getting emails. You're able to try to reactivate them. You're able to gauge interest, and if they are still not engaged, then you can sunset them, suppress them, and save deliverability and save. So that's what you want to be doing. And how we usually do this is basically, most of the campaigns are going to the base engaged segment, and then maybe once a month, once every 2 months or something, you have like a big sale, and then for that big sale, you open up to the full list and you try to engage as many people as possible. Number 3, 1 to 2 campaigns per month. These are kind of like extra. If you have enough capacity, if you have enough resources, I would be targeting high intent, VIP, and win back lists. For VIP customers, you can do a couple of things. You can send like loyalty emails, gratitude messaging in general. You can also mine feedback from them, so you can ask them, hey, we noticed you are a VIP customer. Do you want to give us a testimonial against like small gift or something? Then for the win back lists, if you have lapsed customers, you can send like a re-engagement campaign for those people. It can be email, it can be SMS, it can be even direct mail, like postcard basically, just for these people to try to re-engage them because you've noticed that they haven't been active after, let's say, 90 days since they bought from you the last time. So that's point number 3. Then point number 4, the zero-party data, first-party data, and behavioral segments. So the ones that I went through here. Like I said, these are really important. They have the biggest potential of improving your conversion rates when used right. So for example, if you can actually target your flows depending on what is their key goal and give them the right product recommendations, this has a big potential to improve your conversion rates. But there's something really important that I already kind of touched on that you need to understand if you use these. You want to use these mainly for flow segmentation when the data is still up to date. Let's say for welcome flow after they gave you the information in the pop-up, or for abandonment flow after they've given you the information, or for post-purchase flow when they just purchased, you already know what product they purchased, you know what their main goal is based on that product and so on. You want to segment based on the data when it's still fresh and when it's still up to date. But you don't want to overuse for campaigns or newsletters because these attributes and the behavior changes over time. So for somebody who came in looking for muscle gain, maybe right now they're not looking for muscle gain anymore. Maybe right now they're looking to cut fat or cut weight, and the products they're looking for, the goals and the communication they should be receiving is totally different at that point. So you don't want to lock them in based on the data point they gave you at the pop-up if they have been with you for multiple months already. So use mainly for flow and segmentation when the data is still up to date, and don't overuse for campaigns. Now, point number 5, bonus and extra segments. Use only for specific use cases again. These come in whenever you have a specific use case. For example, if you have a promotion ongoing, you notice a lot of people are clicking it but they're not converting, then you can build a segment for those people who did click but didn't convert, and then you can send like a retargeting campaign signed by the founder for them or something like that. You want to focus mainly on the ones here, and these are kind of like extra, as the name suggests. Then evergreen exclusions. So the list hygiene and exclusion segments that I went through here that are part of like the evergreen segments, these are something that you want to always exclude from sending. So you don't want those people to receive, because mostly those people are not even people, they might be bots, or then they are people who have never engaged with your emails, who are never gonna engage with your emails, and who you should just clean away from your list. So you don't want to destroy your deliverability sending to those, and you just want to put them to the sunset flow, and then you want to suppress them if they still don't engage, because that's just the thing. You don't need those, and you don't want to be paying for somebody never gonna actually open your emails or buy from it. So those are the key points. And then final point here, number 7, monthly review for suppressed list cleanup. So this is something every month you need to be going through these list hygiene segments, like suppression segment, never engaged with you in 120 days, and these segments that I showed to you from here. You want to go through these segments every month, and you want to suppress them. And how do you do that? Inside Klaviyo, you can simply go into this. You can press, for example, spam trap, and then you can go here, press the 3 dots, and you can press suppress current members in the segment, and then they're getting suppressed. So you just go through those suppression segments, list cleaning, these 5 segments, press suppress current members, and then the list cleaning is done. But there's also a way to automate automate this. I have a list cleaning automation tutorial here, so you can watch it if you're interested in how to automate this process, so you never have to do this manual cleaning ever again. And for example, in this case, I can show you how this looks like. So this is basically, let's say, list cleaning or suppression. It should be with this name. So for example, suppression flow. There's basically when somebody joins to this chronic bounces segment, they're gonna be going to this suppression webhook, and then this webhook is automatically suppressing them in real time. And it's super simple to set up. Literally takes like 10-15 minutes, and I have a full video tutorial on how to do that. So if you're interested, you can just watch that as well. So that's the complete segmentation system that fixes your deliverability and turns browsers into buyers. But here's the thing, deliverability and segmentation are only the first step toward high-performing email marketing. Because even if all your emails land in the inbox, you're still leaving money on the table if you don't have the right pop-up strategy capturing leads, the right email types that actually convert, and the complete content calendar tying it all together. So in the video on screen right now, I'm breaking down the full strategy that took one of our health and wellness brands from 25k to 225k per month in email sales. You'll see the pop-up framework converting at 10% plus, not the generic 2 to 4% that most brands are getting. The 5 email types that are crushing it in Q4 2025 and Q1 2026, and how all these segments actually work together in a real optimized content calendar. Click the video on the screen right now and I'll walk you through the complete system. Now thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.